Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Sith Council. And listen, man, I'm so excited that you guys are enjoying Sith Council at 7 o'clock p.m. That's where we started airing it on Wednesday nights because I do my spoiler review in the morning. And then we wanted to get Mike and Steph, and we're doing, I don't know how long. Hopefully digital doesn't last too long, but you guys seemed to like it last week. Us talking again, so that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to do our spoiler discussion, full episode on Book of Boba Fett episode 3. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done that already. Please subscribe and find us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It is very, very important. It helps the show out tremendously. It helps us get great sponsors to continue on the show. We don't do donations on this show. We don't do Streamlabs, Super Chats, any of that. We just rely on you guys downloading those episodes. So even if you have never listened to a podcast before and you just do this on video, please subscribe to us on the podcast feed, especially Spotify. We're growing on Spotify and would really like you to follow us over there if you can. All right, Book of Boba Fett. We're going to talk about that. And then I think at the end, after we talk about the episode itself, we are going to also mention that Dave Filoni has been confirmed that he wrote the episode 6 of Book of Boba Fett. So we'll get into that. But it's Sith Council. It's me. It's Mike Kalinowski. It's Steph Sabraw. Let's do it.
I can feel your anger. It gives you focus, makes you stronger.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Sith Council. Oh, look at this crew. The wrong crew. Oh, wrong crew. Oh, set it up.
Mike.
Messed up. Not in a second. This is the
Steph,
problem.
is that Betty Boop in the background there? Like boop boopy doop.
Yeah.
Wait, is it like Betty Boop version of you, like with the hair and everything?
It's tan Betty Boop. I made her.
I like that.
That's like Betty Boop. If you were Betty Boop,
Works well. Sooner or later, I wouldn't be surprised at this point. I wouldn't be surprised at this point if Betty Boop shows up in the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, exactly. I think she's a fan of Filoni's, and he's going to throw it in there with Trejo and Milton in there.
Milton.
Betty Boop will be a smuggler. Boop boopy doop. I got spice.
Oh, look. So obviously, I can already tell from the way Mike's coming in hot. I don't think.
Dude, I'm going to come in off the top ropes, as Shannon likes to say on this episode.
All right, listen. So here's the thing. I want to start off where I obviously, if you guys, maybe you did, maybe you didn't. I did a full-on spoiler episode this morning, so I have not heard both Mike and Steph's thoughts yet. I'm just going to give them a quick breakdown of what I thought, so then that way they can either pile on that or they could agree, disagree, whatever it is. My overall thoughts was that there was a lot in this episode that I liked a lot, but there was a lot more than in the other ones that I didn't like. And even in the beginning of this episode, where the whole theme seems to be what I had said earlier this morning was that this show, and we've talked about it on this show was in the trailer. It made it start to look like it was going to be Boba Fett doing what he did at the end of Mandalorian, whacking people out, taking them out, being, a gangster. And it even seemed, and they cheated stuff and made it seem like there's a certain line he already said in the series, which was speak freely, which we're like, when we analyze the trailer, like, he doesn't mean that. Well, he does mean that. He's like a good guy, which is fine, but it's not the gangster story that we thought we were going to get. And I think people need to embrace that. What I actually really liked about this episode was the flashback. I thought the flashback was done very well. I thought it ended the story that we were set up for the first 2 episodes. I'm going to go into all the stuff that I actually really liked first. And I think that it also tied in. I love the idea. I always love the idea of the shared universe inside of Star Wars. And everyone's like, well, it's always a shared universe. Yeah, but how well does it really connect into the movies? The TV show are doing things where they set Ahsoka. She gets her own series. Boba Fett comes in and gets his own series. But even the stuff with Amy Sedaris that they showed at the end, where she's just kind of walking through with the droids, a nice little setup. I like that. I like the idea that we know the time period because we see they're setting. We actually see them set the stormtroopers' helmets on those spikes that Din winds up seeing. So all that stuff was great. The way that they tie in the pikes and how that plays not only in the past, it now plays into the future. Love the stuff with BK, the big Wookiee. All that played very well. And I think Mike and I are going to disagree. Absolutely, my favorite part was the deep dive into the Rancor and who the Rancor is, as far as the mythology of the Rancor, the personality of the Rancor. I loved Danny Trejo as the Rancor trainer. I thought he was a perfect casting. Loved the stuff with the Hutts. All that stuff, loved. Stuff I didn't love was all the modern crap that they keep doing. And it's Milton coming in the beginning and saying, hey, they don't respect you. Nobody respects you. Why? Well, think about it. When you say, "Hey, I'm gonna kill you if you don't do that," and you go, "Just kidding," and then you go, "Hey, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna shoot you." Just kidding. That catches on. Word catches on, and no one takes you seriously. So I understood that. And the biker gang, the Power Rangers, I don't mind the characters. I don't mind the actors. I mind the look. It looks like a Alita Battle Angel. If they're so poor, sell your bikes. What are you stealing water for? Bikes are very expensive. So that's just some of the stuff that we can get into overall. But Steph, what did you like? What didn't you like? What did you think of the overall episode?
Well, last week I said I wanted them to give me a lay of the land of what we were working with, and they did that, and I appreciated that. I like to know like the setup, who we're working with, how many different people are involved. I liked a lot of it. The look continues to be awesome. Boba continues to be the saving grace for me, even if he's benevolent. I don't mind that. I think he does such a great job of acting in this character. What I'm really minding, though, is that I feel like I need motives for any of the characters other than Boba. Like, I feel like there's no motives that have really been, like, clear and cut.
Yeah.
And there's no stakes, really, for me right now. Like, with Chrysanthemum, he just, like, is let go. The twins show up, and now they're gone. And maybe this is setting seeds for them to come back. But what were the stakes of those characters even?
Right, who's the villain? Who's the big villain now? Because I thought they were the villain, and I said this to Mike before you got on the air, Steph, was that there's a scene that Boba and Fennick have. Fennec's got to get fed up with him eventually. But
I think, that's why she was late. She was late when Chrysanthemum was kicking his butt. And so I was like, where was she?
Boba Fett woke up and said one thing and one thing only. I have the worst security in the world. Like, how are you in a tank and the pigs don't know where the thing is? The Power Rangers don't know where he is. Fennec doesn't know where he is. How does he get in? Plus, the thing that drove me nuts was that they're sitting at the table. The droid's just serving up food, and Boba's like, enough with the food. I love that part, right? But then Fennec goes, "You're the head of a family." What family?
Where?
What family? Like, he's got no family. He's got 2 pigs. And he's got the
Rancor and the Power Rangers.
The Power Rangers. And then he's got the best tool of them all. They give him the Wookiee. And he could have said, "Hey, look, I'm not going to keep you as a slave. We're not going to do that. But I want you to work for me. At least come on this mission and scare the hell out of baseball cat turd and the mayor's Veep. Like, let's go scare them. Just come over there." Instead, no, he lets them go. And the Wookiee running away was hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, he's the coolest looking character in a while to me. Like, this guy is cool. And he runs like Dear Evan Hansen away. Like, I'm like, where are you going?
When he bit the pig, it was the best.
Yeah.
So good. But I love that scene. I love that whole thing. All of that stuff, the stuff that worked with the Wookiee and the fighting, and even when the Power Rangers came in and they were doing their thing, like I like
those characters.
I do. They just.
Why'd you paint their bikes?
The speeder should have been broken down speeders looking like Luke's speeder. Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
I'm gonna say I'll come out off the top. This is probably my least favorite episode out of any Disney Plus show we've seen so far.
Yeah.
Of the Star Wars stuff. I just felt from
Star Wars
stuff, head to toe, like the speeder bikes, like. We've seen Mos Eisley and Mos Espa and Tatooine for 40 years.
Yeah.
That color and those sheen on those ships have never been shown on this planet ever. And the fact, I know they're trying to do an American Gigolo, is that the movie? American Lucas, Graffiti, American Gigolo. Yeah. American Graffiti. I know they're trying to do that with it. I know they are like the throwbacks to the Westerns. I get it. Like the hot rods. It just doesn't fit. The characters are great. The big problem for me with this show, it's taking the mystique out of all these characters. Like a Rancor, we're terrified. Even the assassin in last episode was terrified that it's there, and now we're finding it's a puppy. He's scratching its ear, like, "Oh, you're a good boy." I'll be like,
I
didn't know, because it's like, okay,
but
we lost the mystique with Boba Fett. We lost the mystique with Boba Fett. Like we've seen he's this human and there's feelings, and we lost the mystique with the Tuskens. So they're not this thing anymore. We're losing all the mystique of these characters. Like, save something. Like, next episode, I think the last episode, I'm going to say this right now. I think he's going to go back to the Sarlacc and put flowers on the grave of the Sarlacc that he killed, because he's going to feel something.
I'll push back a little bit on that. I do. I
want some mystique left.
I can get on board with the idea that if you look at Boba Fett from The Mandalorian, he's significantly different. He comes in hot in The Mandalorian,
Yeah.
like just smashing stormtroopers in the face. There's no like, hey, how do you feel after that? He's like, no, I just killed you, right? And then he fights against Kazak Reeves. What's her name? Koska Reeves.
Koska Reeves, yeah.
He fights.
In that bar scene.
He goes that's against her. He's always ready for a fight. And then at the end in the post-credit scene, he just kills Bib Fortuna, and we still don't know why. We don't know if those raiders are working for Bib or not, or what it was. But he's lost his edge, and now whether or not that's going to be even explained a little bit more, because you can't say, well, it's because he was with some people like, well, he evolved because he was with the Tusken. Yeah, but also, they explain it in Boba Fett, in Mandalorian, because he was hard.
He's the lead, and I want that. I want him to evolve because he's the lead.
Yeah, me too.
But everything else, these other things, I don't need to.
But that's what I'm gonna say. I disagree with you. The Rancor, I love the stuff with the Rancor because of the stuff they set up with the Bad Batch. I thought was really great with how and they set up the Rancor stuff in Return of the Jedi. When that trainer comes out, and you're as a kid,
trainer bit, but that's the trainer bit.
Yeah, but he's telling you like because as
he imprinted on the trainer.
And I always wondered, I was like, how does the Rancor not eat the trainer? And the thing is, and Trejo says it, they're pretty gentle creatures for the most part, unless they're, A, hungry, or B, they feel threatened. And I love that. I thought that was great. I thought that the way that they played that out was good. The Tusken Raiders, another thing I push back on is that they still have that mystique. They still are vicious creatures.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
but Boba said it. The guy said it. A lot of these tribes are still killing.
No,
we just chose not to.
That's what I'm saying. But like, it's like last episode was one of my favorites because I loved getting to see the Tuskens. Yeah. But now here's in the next episode, and we're getting a new layer peeled back on different characters. Like next episode, what's going to be pulled back? So I'm just like, it keeps doing these. Like I didn't mind the Tuskens as much, but now with the Rancor and the Tuskens combined, it's like okay, we're kind of.
I don't get how Boba just manhandled all of the biker gang in one full swoop, and then the biker gang pulls up on the Tuskens and slaughters them all,
and they killed the woman who was kicking Boba's ass for like the last how long it was, but we don't know. That's that because I said the same thing this morning. I said because the flip side of that is that if it was those raiders, the same ones, right? Boba kicked all their asses in the bar anyway. He's not going to have a problem
doing it again.
Shows them again. However, I think that this would be the opportunity if they did tie in the Bib Fortuna side of it, that they're working with somebody else, that there's a reason why they're doing what they're doing. That would make sense. And it also then would give motive to Boba to go just slaughter Bib Fortuna, because right now there's no motive for her to do it. We thought there was. We thought that it was like, well, he just wants to come in, be a gangster, kill everybody. The theme throughout this series is that Boba, it's for people inside of the village and everyone too, and Milton tells them the same thing. People think he's a fake gangster. He doesn't have a lot of respect, and I understand why. Yeah. Like it's like everyone else, we should be saying, or maybe not we should be, but like you would think that we were going to be saying, oh, they're wrong. They're going to get it from Boba, because that's what we thought in the trailer. Now it's like, no, he's probably just because he goes up to the Power Rangers and he says to them, he goes, hey, I want to prove to this village. So I want you steal from them? Yeah, old man. We stole from them. Oh, I like the way you talk back. You want a job? What? What? And then you let the Wookiee go? Boba, if you get shot in the head by Fennick, I'm going to understand why. You're not. This is Tatooine, baby.
Do you guys see a Fennick and him splitting up?
I'm telling you, man,
she's going to turn on him.
I want Fennick to turn on him. I want Fennick on the throne at the end, and I want a dark ending. I know we're not going to get it. It's Disney, but I want Fennick going straight up. She's the one the whole time that has been like the assassins, everybody that has been hired out, and but they didn't know it was her. She did it from the side or whatever it was, and causing the deals. She's the one that's been doing it. That's why she was late. That's why all this stuff happened. And then she's the one who has been turning on at the end, because everything that we saw from her before Boba Fett, she was pretty rotten.
Yeah.
And I'd love to see her turn and become like the overall head of the family and actually run a family, and not just a droid, 2 pigs, and the Power Rangers, and then let the Wookiee go. This is bad decision making by Boba Fett. I love Tamora Morrison. I think he's doing a fantastic job acting in this series. I love the flashbacks and everything too, but the decisions by Boba Fett, the character, are lackluster at best. He is a piss poor crime boss.
Oh man!
And you think? Go ahead. I'm sorry, Steph.
Well, okay, so I think that there's everyone's feeling that way. So it must be, I want to trust in the creators, Robert Rodriguez. I want to trust in Filoni, everyone in this working on this project, that they're doing this on purpose so that we have like a bigger hero arc for him. But I think next episode he's going to have a price to pay.
I want to know, and this is what makes me nervous about these shows being on Disney Plus. And I don't know if this is fact. This is just a total speculation. I wonder, because it is on Disney Plus, if they're worried about having a bad guy or an anti-hero in the lead without him being redeeming, because they kind of the old school mentality of, you can't do the Tony Soprano, Walter White thing on a Disney show. You can't do that, right? Because and that's why he has redeeming qualities, and that's why he's doing what he's doing. Because in Mandalorian, who cares if he has redeeming qualities? Let him be as brutal as possible, even though he's loyal and he shows some good things inside of that. He's pretty ruthless, and he's pretty much a prick in Mandalorian. But they're like, who cares? He's not the lead. As the lead, you can see Disney going, well, we can't have him just kind of going out there whacking people, killing people, and doing that, because we need the kids to get on board and all that. I could see that happening. I could see it happening for sure. And it makes me go, oh, we're never going to see a Darth Plagueis or a Palpatine series. We're never going to see a Darth Bane series. But then again, the Acolyte is apparently about Sith. So maybe I'm wrong, but and I don't know if any of that's true. It's just when you see these particular moments being made, because Boba Fett he's just a good dude now, which, because of Tamora Morrison, I don't mind it. But I understand the complaints and criticisms from other fans, but Mike, your concerns inside of this episode were not really mine. I just lose a lot with inside of the tone and stuff, because the bikers, though, not the flashback bikers, the Power Rangers. I like the characters. I love the fact that they have British accents. I think that fits very well. My problem is that the look also, not just of the bikes, because I agree with you guys, the bikes are completely out of place. They look like they either look like two things: a different movie, or they should be on Coruscant. They just don't look like on Tatooine. That's part one. Part two is the look and the feel of them. They look like they're at Alita Battle Angel or Element. The look just doesn't, or Canto Bite. It just doesn't. It just doesn't look like.
That's where it was. I was trying to figure with the one guy with the main guy with the eye, the telescoping eyes. Like, where?
It's like Cyborg.
It was in Canto Bite. A guy had that. Like, he turned and looked when they walked in, and the eye did the little zoom thing, right?
Because Tatooine was always in the and not much has changed, right?
No,
Tatooine was always in the outer rim, and Watto says it that the Republic was too far away to have anything to do with them. The Empire too far away to anything to do with them. They were just kind of a piss poor planet that just lived by, and that's why the gangsters rule the planet, because nobody could really rule it. There's no money on it, and the ones that had money were like the gangsters. And these kids, well, we're poor. You're not poor. Look at your outfits. Look at your bikes. Like you got to be consistent.
Now, if they were a different thing, if they were a gang terrorizing the people with the water and stealing the water and they were using the money that they would get to charge up water prices to outfit with these things and build up their bikes, like that's a different thing. But if then
Boba's got to get him on his side, and Boba gets him on his side, and then you're like, all right, and then it's like this kind of. But it felt with the way that it was presented, not the acting, but the way it was presented, it felt a little CW-ish to me. With the way that
like the four of them coming riding together, as just like if they were in like swoop bikes that were all beat to crap, sure. I would have bought it 100%. Like they were like, I think someone even said it, like it didn't make sense, but they're like, that's Tanks and Biggs from New Hope. They said like they but remember Cammy and them in the deleted scenes of New Hope.
Yeah, that was in the last episode.
Right. It seemed like that's what it should be more of, that kind of.
And those, they fit, and you look at the difference. But this is also my biggest point with television as opposed to film, right? Because I think that all three of us were disappointed with this episode, or didn't like a lot of different elements from this episode. But we're not stewing in it for 2 years, 3 years before another one comes out. Next week there'll be a new one.
Right.
And we'll talk, and hopefully next week's is good. I think that the Robert Rodriguez, I think for because he was pretty much, his angle was involved in the second one, even though he didn't direct it. The 3 episodes inside of this storyline that was set up, I think, have really concluded. And now in the flashbacks, we start to find out he's going to take care of the biker gang. He's got to find his armor. He's got to do that. We're going to have a new director come in to do. Who were the directors that were confirmed for this, Steph? Do you remember?
I thought Robert Rodriguez is doing a majority of them, and then
Steph Green.
Yeah, Steph Green did one. I'm not sure on the other ones.
I hope she comes back for another one. I liked her.
Let's see. I remember. Let's see. I'm trying to see the directors that they have. The full director.
Yeah, why didn't he keep
Bryce Dallas Howard is coming back, which is great. So Robert Rodriguez, Steph Green, Bryce Dallas Howard.
Oh yeah.
All right. Kevin Tatcharin. He's new to the Star Wars.
Oh no, you know who he is? He did that Mortal Kombat Rebirth.
Yeah.
That like the short that he dropped on YouTube that got a series greenlit.
Yeah.
Now see, I like him because his kind of sensibilities and his what he does with limited budgets is incredible. So that's exciting.
But this is why I'm excited about it too, because I think that, and as much I really do like Robert Rodriguez, but the biggest issues that I had in any of the episodes, all 3, even though Rodriguez did 2 of them, was the direction of some of the actors and some of the performances. There's not a lot of stuff character-wise that I would maneuver, except like you said, some of the motivation for certain characters. But I do love when the Wookiee comes in. I still think Boba has the worst security in the world. How a Wookiee just pops into the castle, and
a massive one too.
Yeah, and
it's not like he's a small little assassin be able to sneak in. He's a giant Wookiee. Yeah, he ain't sneaking in anywhere.
It's that problem that Star Wars has had in both the movies and films of like, don't worry about it. It's like, no, but tell me, how did he get in?
Yeah, how did you get in?
Did he Tom Cruise in the Mission Impossible? Like, how did he get in? Did he know how to go through the bot? Like, if they should.
And why isn't he yelling at them for letting him in? Like, there's no like security detail conversation.
He just got
to crack the whip.
He rules with respect.
But he's a horrendous leader. He is one of the worst Star Wars leaders I've ever seen. He's really.
And I know what the argument's going to be against it. Like, well, he's a bounty hunter. He's always just been a gun for hire. It's like, but that's the point of this story.
Right.
He could have just kept on bounty hunting, but he wanted to take over.
He wanted it to end. But it goes back to what Steph said. What was his motivation for killing Bib Fortuna? Now, we might find it. We have a lot of episodes left. We could find out why. We could lead up. I think that they're going to infuse the past into the present, and they're certainly doing that. And that's one of the things I love the most about this episode was the combination of the Pike Syndicate in the past into how it plays now, because the Hutts are like, hey, we got screwed, pal. We all got screwed. We're not going to war with you. We thought we can come in here. It's already been promised to the Pike Syndicate. We want nothing to do that. We don't want to go to war. We're out. Tank the Rancor, take the Wookiee, peace. Loved that scene, right? And then
poor guys had to carry them up that fucking path. You kidding me?
Yeah,
oh my gosh,
kids watching my kids.
Their faces.
Are there? I'm sorry.
So we but either way, so they do that. They're set up now, and I love the idea that Boba's gonna but the thing is, now that we know that the main villains are the Pikes, right? That's what it seems to be.
Yeah. What
they're setting up for here. Boba's riding in on that Rancor at the end. Which is,
that's a good point. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I want to ride
that.
Yeah.
And I screenshotted that.
And they brought in the Witches of Dathomir also. The Witches of Dathomir. What happened? I missed it.
I screenshotted when Boba said, I want to ride that.
I'm waiting. That's like your ace card. I'm waiting for you to throw that down somewhere in your life.
Oh my god, yeah. I was like, okay, put this in the draft.
Just text me one day.
You should
hey, I used it.
You should throw it out there at a bar one night and be like, no, I'm quoting Boba Fett, you creep.
Really?
It turns somebody getting very excited, going, "Oh my god, is that a kid's show?" I feel weird leaving. But anyway, so this is that whole setup with the Pike Syndicate and how they're going to do that and how he's going to eventually show up kicking some ass. But but you only have a couple episodes though to make me feel like why do I hate them the most?
Because they haven't really done much. Oh,
try to trade spice. They got whacked. They got screwed up on the train. You know, Johnny Five bailed off the train, and who knows where he is now. But they have and they had this thing with him. I love that whole setup when he walks in and he says to the Pike leader, he goes, "Hey, you got to pay us now." He's like, "Well, we're gonna pay somebody, but we're not paying two people."
Yeah, like that made sense. He's like, "Hey, we'll pay. We're just not gonna pay twice. We're not gonna don't make a jerk out of me." What is it? That's a good fellas thing, isn't it? Like, don't make a jerk out of me. He's Paulie. Not Paulie.
That's a good leader. That's a good leader. He's going like,
he's Maury.
Yeah, he's going.
I don't make a jerk out of me. Come on, where's my money?
Because I get it, man. I like. We'll pay protection. We understand that's how it runs. But like, who are we paying? You got these guys coming in. Yeah, like who are we paying? And then Boba's gonna, all right, I'm gonna take care of the biker gang. And then it ends up that they're all dead. His buddies are all dead. And I thought that was a good way where he sees the sign. But they got to be.
Pikes played him, right? Because Pikes obviously knew that they killed the Tusken Raiders, right? I feel like they were involved in that.
Maybe so, and that could play it together. But the question is how involved. But this is why I go back to the Bib Fortuna stuff. Mm-hmm. What is his overall motivation? Because the Boba Fett that we're getting in this series does not play that he just went in and killed Bib Fortuna because that goes against everything else that he's been doing in this series. If they started off the series and then someone comes in, says something, and Boba shoots him in the head, you're going, okay, that's the same dude. But that's not why. There has to be a different motivation of why he killed Bib Fortuna.
My thoughts on that, I think because they wanted a teaser at Mandalorian to set up Book of Boba Fett. I think they knew it. I think they did that teaser, and then when they sat down at the writer's room, they're like, oh, okay, we went a little hot with that one. So the story's not going this way. It's evolving into this way. So, but like you said with Star Wars, well, it is what it is. Okay. But yeah, like that Boba that came in there without trying anything different. Like that's the Boba we need. He should be out in the streets of Mos Espa doing crap like that. Yeah. Laying down the law. Like I'm in charge now. You respect me now.
I know. That's what I think. But the other problem is when people go, well, it didn't hit your expectations. You can't just like the show. The problem is the trailer that they gave you looked like that's what the show was. The trailer was set up. Like we all saw it because we didn't know what the hell Book of Boba Fett was. And when that trailer came out, the trailer was, oh my God, this is like The Sopranos, and everybody was saying it on the internet. This is like the gangster story inside of Star Wars. Yeah. And then there's that scene where he goes, "Speak freely," which we talked about earlier.
In the trailer, yeah.
In the trailer, but like they cheated that where he was actually talking to somebody for real and saying "speak freely." But why tease it like that? Why tease it like he's going to be one particular character and he's going to play it one particular way and he's going to be this ruthless gangster? He's not a ruthless gangster. He's a good dude. And maybe you should have sold that, because then that's when you start to tamper expectations, because you sold a different product. It's one thing if you see something that, you know, it's a certain trailer and then you start coming up with ideas and it doesn't hit, you can allow it to be disappointed. But it's like, well, yeah, but that's all in the trailer. This trailer was set up as if it was going to be the Sopranos in space. Or gangsters in space. And I know that there's only so much you can do in a Disney show, how much violence you can show and all that stuff too. But I don't know. And even the stuff with BK, the Wookiee, right? It's like
I like calling BK. I like that.
Everyone was expecting him to like, oh, there's going to be this big lead up, this big fight. You got it right away, and he's just tossing.
I'll say this: when they were,
you expected Boba to put his balls on BK, because that's what happened.
Well, I expected him, like, they walk out there, standing next to him, the Hutts are there, like, and to see Fennick, Boba, the guards, him all standing there, like, oh, that's cool. Okay, that's going to be the family now. And then let him go. It's like,
they let him go.
Come on now. You had some big muscle there.
I don't understand why they let him go, especially the fact that Boba and him have worked together. And it's like, you don't keep him as a slave. You tell him, you say, look, man, like, I'm not gonna keep you on here and make you work for me, but like, you should work for me, and let's work together. Let's find out who's screwing us over, or at least, again, hire him for that one job to go. Let's go get the mayor together, because if you show up with me, they're gonna poop in their pants. And it doesn't. Like, it's just,
we still haven't gotten that scene from the trailer, right, where we're at the table with what looks like a lot of other. So I feel like
that's going to be against the Pikes.
Well, no, because didn't they mention? Okay, so we've got the Trandoshans run one section,
right,
and then I forgot who the other two were. But that seems like
I like that scene with the droid in the beginning that he was telling them how it all was broken up and why it was broken up. I thought that was a good explanation. Yeah, it was a good thing from saying, look, Jabba, he ruled it all. Jabba was like Julius Caesar. He ruled it all, and nobody was going to challenge his rule.
Right.
But Bib Fortuna didn't have that respect, so he had to kind of give stuff off and pay, and do certain ways. And he ruled a very different way because he broke up the territories. I thought that was great. I thought it set it up really, really well. And so stuff like that is a good setup for later on. I just think that they got to be a little bit more consistent. But like, I understand every single person who thinks that Boba is like that guy, the guy. Because think about it, if you're living in Tatooine in that spot, and they're like, who's running Jabba's shop now? The guy that used to work for him. Which one? The guy the nice Snoodles? No, not Snoodles. The one that he was there. He used to like hit on the alien chick sometimes, and then he got tossed in the pit. Oh, he lived in the pit. Yeah, he got slapped in the backpack, and then he fell down. I don't know. He's back, but he's back. Yeah. Well, who's with him now? I don't know any of them. You don't know any of his guys that he's with? No, he's with some. He's got this. He's got a lady with him who can shoot. She's pretty scary. Well, who else? Who's with him? The 2 pigs. They stayed with him. Oh, the pigs? Oh, okay. Any more pigs? No, just 2. Oh, all right. Now who's got him? The thieves. You know the thieves that are stealing water? They're hanging out with him. Oh, I heard he got a Wookiee. Nah, he let him go. Well, who's he with? That's it. All right, let's go piss in the alley and see if he finds us. Who cares?
I would understand. So we got 3-4 episodes left. I would understand if they're setting up where, okay, these other territories are now going to start, testing Boba Fett, like to see how far they can get away with. But they're doing it now.
Yeah, I think that's what they're doing.
They don't need to go challenge the new the new head boss guy. They've been doing it, and he's not doing anything.
Right.
He needs to come into these different territories and wreck some shop.
He's got it. He said it as much when he thought the Hutts were he was right. The Hutts were the one who put the hit on him, and he said, I got to make a move now because the Hutts they're going to keep doing it, and I got to show my brass. I got to do something. And then they show
Everyone's
up.
waiting for you to make a move, and
then they show up, and he's like, I don't have to make a move anymore. It's like, and he's like, oh, we got to go to mayor. And how many times? And like even the Veep guy fakes him out, and the Veep guy goes, oh, well, you don't have an appointment. And Fennick goes, I'm going to shoot you in the face. And he goes, how many times you said that to everybody? Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go hide, get my bike, and get the hell out of here.
No, he does the whole like, hold on a second, I got a little thing here. All right, be right back. And then Boba's like, did he lock the door on us? What? He locked the door on us.
It's like
the guy closed it. He's like, whoops, gotta go. See you when I see you. Like, they locked the door.
Anybody can do it. Like, it's like Boba gets played throughout every episode. Something happens to him. He's the most badass in the flashbacks. That's when he's the most badass.
Yeah.
That's the guy that we saw. Like in the flashback.
I fooled Boba Fett and locked the door on him.
Same thing. And then he gets in and then you get Biff Tannen flying through the streets and he lands into the manure. But I did love the idea though when when he's got the picture and that picture. Did you see the picture that they had?
No.
When they went
Jabba,
but Boba's in that picture, which is great.
Yeah. Maybe I don't know. This is what I'm going to choose to believe, that him getting pulled up on by BK when he's like naked in the tank is like a metaphor of what's going on. He's not armored. Everyone's coming at him. He's looking kind of like he's not set for this job, and then he's gonna pull up in the next few episodes.
What bothers me then, Steph, about that is the fact that, and again, it's different. And I get everyone's always like, but he's been hurt. He's been healing. He's not as full. I get it, but Boba Fett, like Batman, should be just as bad as without his armor. He shouldn't need his armor to be.
Lowering it doesn't not eliminate
that's the one that you chose to go light with.
Wait, what?
So that's the word you went to light
well,
with?
I didn't drop in a couple, so I had to.
Scream the F-bomb on the hill like Rocky screaming to fight Drago in Rocky 4, but this one, man.
Like, also, you lowering your volume doesn't just say that, doesn't not use the word.
That's all right.
The only reason I asked that is because there were a few people, there were a few new viewers that were asking if this was kid friendly, and Sith Council, I'd like to be for kid.
It is very kid friendly, except for I'm the bad problem.
Sorry,
and I need
y'all.
to fix it. Yeah. But like, he should be that awesome without his armor. And I get it, he's hurt, but like that was a chance to show him being, what he was. But he's running for those little rocket things, and he's this and that. And I was like, okay, all right, hey. I did like, and I've been calling the Gamorrean guards pigs, but I do like when one of the pigs slashed the Wookiee, and he let out that howl.
Yeah.
And then he bit his face.
He bit it.
That was awesome. That whole scene was great. Like I'm saying, there were I didn't hate this episode. I really didn't. I think it was my least favorite in the three of them, but I didn't hate it. Because there was so much cool stuff in this episode. There was I love the Rancor stuff. I love Trejo in it. I love the
Pikes are cool.
I like Trejo. Just throw some prosthetics on him.
But the flashback stuff, all that. It's just modern tone stuff. It just drives me nuts. And when it's out of place and it doesn't fit consistency of tone, because it wasn't set up. Like Mike said, it just wasn't set up in any other way. It sticks out like a sore thumb. Like when those at the end, when he shows up at the mayor's place with those bikes, and they're so bright in your face, and it's like, oh, what if they really just like you said, American Graffiti, all vamped out. It's like, you don't need that. It's not consistent, especially you just set up that these kids are poor, and they're not. And why are they loyal to Boba? Because he gave him jobs, and they're willing to fight a Wookiee because he gave him a job, and they didn't even like working for him for a second. It's like, I don't know, but I like the combination of that the last scene when the dude with the eyepiece calls in. And he's like, yeah, it's the Pikes. He said, good job, and keep an eye on him. He's like, don't worry about cracking jokes with me, man. I paid money for this. I like that scene. That was fun. So there was a lot of stuff inside of this that I thought was really great. I just hope that they fix a lot of the consistency problems with some of the performances and well, some, not just the performances. The performances more so, I think, was the Twi'lek and baseball cap. But I didn't mind the performances of the actual bike gang, the bikes.
Oh no, yeah, I like them all too.
Yeah.
It's just like their introduction, and then they're now, if we are to accept them as recurring cast members and members of this family, then I want them to talk to Boba. I want to know what their background is a little bit, get to know them in any way. It was a long episode. I could have gone without some of the action scenes, and
this wasn't long.
It wasn't?
No, it's 36 minutes.
Well, I mean, it's longer than some Mandalorian episodes we got were 28 minutes.
Really?
It goes, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I just there was a good enough amount of time where I personally could have gone with more character development and less action.
Yeah, I mean the chase was a bit. They dragged out a little bit, and I can understand the criticism, but I thought it was fun. But I get it if someone was like, "Oh, look, they just wanted to throw. There's a protocol droid. There's an astro droid.
Yeah."
There's this, there's that. There were fun little Easter eggs that they put in there, and little things that they threw into that scene that I didn't mind. And then the mayor's dude just kind of gives it up. He's like, yeah, the mayor's with the Pikes. Don't tell me. It's like, shoot that guy. You want to show you're a gangster? That guy has been
apologies.
Yeah, that guy has been a pain in the ass since episode 1. Kill him. Make a statement.
Yeah,
Just
throw his head next to the stormtroopers. Put his head on a pike.
Right. You already. You show again unless there's a reason, because if we just find out that he just killed Bib to take him out, then shoot this guy, and then the mayor's going to come back and go, whoa, because you're already going to war. You're going to war. Yeah. Take this putz and put him out of his misery, and then just shoot the baseball cap guy because.
Yeah, send a message.
Yeah, and that's it. And then you're like, okay, now we're doing Fennick stuff, and it's like. Because then kids can't be on the side. They can't eat. They're not going to dress up as Boba for Halloween. They're not going to do this.
But they will. People dress up as Darth Vader.
Thinking like that. Of course. I don't know, man. I don't know. I just I think I understand some of the reasoning behind it. I just would love to get the real explanation of why they really went so hard into making Boba a good guy. Because Boba was never, even in Mandalorian, wasn't a good guy. He was a loyal guy.
Yeah,
was stuck to his word, which I loved, but they're going out of their way to make him the good guy in this one, and I don't know how long that can last. I hope that they change it, but the thing we're really not going into that I think is a major plot point that I think is playing was that the first thing you see in that flashback is not Tatooine, it's not the Sand People, it's him back on Kamino.
Yeah,
looking out the window, watching Django go. And by the way, so I had mentioned a couple times to you guys, and I mentioned this on the review this morning because I've been in the comments. When you say something wrong, they let you know. But in Attack of the Clones, when Mace Windu slices off Django's head, I always thought that little Boba was carrying his dad's head in the helmet, right?
Yeah.
But someone's like, if you look at the shadow, you see the head come flying out.
Yeah.
How stupid is that? How does a full-on head go flying out of a helmet? In a slice underneath the neck, a head goes flying out.
What if
the same size helmet?
Wait, what?
I always thought because I did think because if he held it, the head would drop out of it. So that can't happen.
But
I thought when it hit the ground, the head just kind of bump out of it.
No, you see it when they pointed it out to me, and it's what happens when you go back and you look in the shadow. If you pause it, you can see a shadow of the head go flying out with it. But it's like, how does that work with just with the whole science
logic? That's prequel logic.
Just the science of it. It's like underneath, you slice underneath the head, and it goes flying out with it. It's just as big as the head.
I don't know.
So it was fine.
Why doesn't he have a strap on that helmet?
Right. He's
trying to come off. Normally,
but either way, he's traumatized. All right, he's traumatized because of because you keep seeing that shot of his dad leaving.
Yeah, he's traumatized.
And the question though is, where's he going? Where's he going, Mike? Where's Django going?
Oh,
on a mission.
Yeah, I know, but we see him. It's not like
are you saying? I'm confused, Kristian, because I need to know what are you proposing?
Let me see if I can find it.
I feel like that scene was signifying a few things, because right before that we saw a lot of the stormtroopers helmets on stakes, or their heads on stakes, and then we see that scene, and I think it's like a few things. He's mourning still the loss of his father, but he's also questioning his place on this in this galaxy, because he himself is also a clone. And I think that that's like a question of, where does he belong in it all? Like, is he even, like, does he have a right to this throne? I think like figuring that out.
What is she proposing?
So either way, all that goes down. But I'll tell you, I think that I understand why Boba is coming around and has chilled out, though.
Why?
Headspace. I will tell you right now that I believe that it is Headspace, and that is exactly why. Ladies and gentlemen, Headspace, if you didn't know about it, I'm going to tell you about it. It is fantastic, and I love it. We've been using it on this show since maybe even the beginning. It's one of our first sponsors here, and boy, do I love Headspace. Look, if you've ever felt like your mind doesn't have an off switch, tension is constantly traveling through your body, or no matter how much you try to sleep, you're always tired. There are many ways that stress, anxiety, and sleeplessness can harm your mind and your body. So this year, why not make small changes to your daily routine that have a big influence on your mental health and your well-being? You got to start your year with Headspace. So you got to do it. You got to get Headspace, because if your mind's ever been sprinting for years on end, leaving trails of stress, anxiety, and fatigue that is eroding your mental health, you can't do it. If you're nodding along going, yes, that's what's been happening to me, then it's time to adopt small daily practices that are going to have a huge impact on your long-term happiness and well-being. You got to do it. It's so great, and we talked about it before. Steph loves it. If you, I believe for me, if you understand how you feel and you can improve your mental health, it's tremendous. And this is why we've teamed up with our friends over at Headspace, so you can experience it for yourself. When we all say that we're fine, you don't always mean it. And fine isn't really an emotion. How many times have you told yourself you're fine when you're angry, sad, or nervous? I can tell you, and I've talked about it in this show many times, that was a big portion of my life for a long time, that I said, I'm all right. I don't need to talk to anybody. I don't need to do anything. I'm fine. And you're not fine. Headspace is scientifically proven to help you manage your feelings and your mental health. In fact, a recent study proves in 2 weeks, Headspace can reduce your stress by 14%. And whether you want to relieve stress, anxiety, sleep, improve your focus, Headspace is your everyday dose of mindfulness for real life. So here's what you do. If you haven't used Headspace, you got to go check it out. And what I can tell you, the way you do it, you go to headspace.com/Sith, and you get 1 month free of their entire mindfulness library. This is the best Headspace offer available. You got to go headspace.com/Sith today. It's headspace.com/Sith, everybody. So what you want to do, once again, if you're struggling, you got to overcome what's going on with you as far as battling out all these, especially in the last 2 years, man. You want to overcome it. You want to do it with Headspace and mindfulness and other things that you've tried. I was definitely dealing with a lot of things, and because I was lucky enough to have Headspace, I found it. I'm excited to connect with it and improve, and I've been improving my mental health. So give it a try. Go and do it. Please check it out. That's Headspace, and the link is in the description, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's restart this up here. And this is the bummer of not being able to do our normal setup. But
Yes.
here it is. Here it is. Yet. All right. So getting back to, I guess, one of the things we mentioned, I guess we can combine it. Dave Filoni is confirmed. He co-wrote chapter 6 of the Book of Boba Fett. This is from Star Wars News Net, and the great Miguel Fernandez says, first mentioned in a story by the New York Times, we've known for a couple of weeks that Dave Filoni will be credited as a writer in the Book of Boba Fett. We just didn't know which episode. Now, a new story by the direct points out that it'll be chapter 6. That comes out February 2nd. The penultimate episode of the season. The direct mentions in the story that this comes from an official Disney production listing, but since we haven't been able to find a listing, we're running the story as a rumor for now. We also know from the same story from the Times, as well as an interview from Tamora Morrison that came out during the summer, Filoni will be a director in the series as well. Probably be the same one, you would assume. Filoni has already written 2 episodes of The Mandalorian, both chapter 5 and chapter 13, and he directed both of them. For that reason, odds are that he's going to direct chapter 6 of the Book of Boba Fett as well. Fans online have already started speculating that this might mean for the series and which characters might make a cameo. For instance, it is very likely that Cad Bane would show up in this episode. The character, who came back in an episode of The Bad Batch earlier this year after a long time out of the picture, has been speculated for a while to be making the jump to live action with this series. It only makes sense as Fett was sort of an apprentice of Bane during the Clone Wars animated series, and Filoni wanted to have a showdown between the two of them in season 7 of the Clone Wars before that got canceled. The season would have been greenlit years later, but that storyline was scrapped. In The Bad Batch, there were hints that the duel might have happened, but it was never officially confirmed. See, I thought that duel that they showed, from what I heard, actually, was that. Have you guys ever seen the actual scene that the deleted scene of both? From what I heard is that I heard that was canon. But speaking of The Bad Batch, another character that could be making an appearance in chapter 6 is, listen to this, Steph. Speaking of Bad Batch, another character that might be making an appearance in chapter 6 is Omega. Who was revealed during the first season of the series. Since the fate of the character is far from sealed, we are going to meet her in a few months when season 2 comes out. Many are speculating that she could also make the jump to live action, and we have to mention, of course, Captain Rex, another animated character we still haven't seen in live action. That's a bit of a stretch, but they already have the actor that would play him. Plus, he's a character Filoni's fond of, so who knows? Update, the listing has been found on Disney Plus press site and has revealed that Chapter 6 was co-written by Filoni and Favreau. While all the rest of the episodes were solely written by Favreau, we still don't know if Filoni will be directing 6, but the director's list leaves out Favreau, meaning the main writer might not be directing an episode after all. I don't know. I still think that he's going to be directing it.
We'll find out.
As far as all those rumors of characters, Steph, I'm going to say don't get your hopes up. I don't think Omega's going to show up.
Neither do I.
Yeah,
I just don't see a place for her unless they plan on doing a second season of Book of Boba, and then she's in like the final scenes.
Maybe, and plus the fact that we haven't seen season 2 Bad Batch, and anytime you guarantee that a character survives, even though you probably assume she would anyway, you just take away some of the stakes. That's part of it.
Yeah.
I don't like Cad Bane is still very realistic, right? That would show up, and that would be great to finally get him inside of, and please, and they've done it before. They did it with Katie. They did it with Katie Sackhoff, and they brought in the actual actress, and it looks like they're going to be doing Mikkelsen for Thrawn, maybe. But please use the same voice for Cad Bane. Please.
Yeah.
Don't get somebody new to do it. I don't care how great of an actor is. Like when they took away Megatron's voice, and even if they put it, I think it was what's his face for Agent Smith, right?
Hugo Weaving.
I think Hugo Weaving was Megatron. I think, right?
He was Megatron.
He was Megatron, and he should. I love Hugo Weaving, but he shouldn't have been. Should have the original voice in there. But that says I don't like when they just take big actors.
Not Frank Welker. Frank Welker is. Frank Welker. Yeah, his Peter Cullen is Optimus.
Yeah. So
they brought Welker back a or at the end there.
They did, right? As
I think like 4.
Okay.
But then Hugo came back again. It's the voices on that are all
the whole thing screwed up. Anyway, so that's an interesting story. Do we all think that Filoni's probably gonna, if he's co-writing with Favreau, we would say that he's directing this, right?
The episode that he's the final one?
Yeah, they say from Miguel's report at the end, they said that it's possible that he's not directing, but I think Bryce Dallas Howard directs the next one,
and then Kevin Tarcharan.
Yeah,
I'm saying that wrong. I'm sure.
He'll probably
6 or 5.
We do 5, and then
Filoni is
6. And then what I'd love to see is
Favreau
directing. They say he's directing. Favreau. They say
I'd love to see him direct. I mean, that's the thing you talk about. This is the show he pitched originally. Like he wanted Boba Fett. Like maybe he is
busy, dude. There's another reason too. But like look at I just had on the Cobra Kai the creators on the show, and we talked about it. And Josh Heald, who's one of the creators, has directed the last 2 finales. I think the other 2 creators directed the finale for 1 and 2, and he directed finale for 3 and 4. That's a great, to me, let's stick with that system. Like let's have the creator, the guy, like you said, Mike, he wants to do it. Let's have Favreau come in. Did Favreau direct any Mandalorian season 2? I think he directed 1, didn't he?
I think so.
Directed 1. I thought he did.
He did the first episode of season 1, right?
No, season 1, that was Filoni. Season 1, he didn't direct any because he was too slow. No, he didn't direct any in season 1. I think he directed 1 in season 2.
Oh.
And then I'd love to see him direct the finale of this.
That would be great. That'd be something.
Yeah. And then I guess that kind of pushes out our next question. How far along after this show? Because this show's going to wrap in February, second week in February, it looks like, right?
Yeah.
Obi-Wan trailer. Do we get it right around that time?
Why? I don't know why. Just because the news that I've seen popping up and things, I don't know why I feel like we're going to get Andor first.
No chance. They already said they're pushing that back.
They're pushing that back too?
Yeah. Well, that one was said they're pushing that back when there was another. I think that when the Miss Marvel show was pushed back, I think they announced Miss Marvel and Andor both were getting pushed back. Now I don't know if Andor was
COVID related.
No, I don't think so. I don't know if Andor was pushed back to the end of this year, or if Andor was pushed back to 2023.
I just see.
But
I'm just trying to think of when they would drop Obi-Wan
trailer. You mean?
No, the show.
May. You're gonna get it.
You think May?
You're gonna get it in May. Now the question is, when? Let me look at the dates.
I kind of feel like the holidays. We're gonna get it for the holidays.
What holidays?
Christmas.
Oh no way! That's too far.
Well, I'm just saying it's my opinion, and I'm usually right.
Do you want to? How much would you like to bet? Would you like to bet a steak dinner?
A steak dinner?
Yes.
So you think? Dinner. What are we doing?
There's no chance that they drop Obi-Wan during November, December. There's no chance.
Why is your thoughts on that?
So 3 reasons.
Let's hear them.
First, Mandalorian season 3 will most likely be debuting at that time. That's the time.
But we don't know that.
But we're pretty confident.
Okay,
right?
That's a ding against me then.
That's part 1. Part 2 is with the potential of, if not, the Andor would most likely come in that particular area. And the other one is they started promoting, even though we didn't get any trailer on it, that little side piece thing that they did for Obi-Wan that's on Disney Plus. That's the next one in the tank.
All right, maybe I won't take the bet then.
That's the next one in the tank.
All right.
And
I forgot about Mandalorian 3.
Yeah, and they're pushing on that one. So I think that we're going to get.
All right.
You're more likely to see Obi-Wan and Mandalorian season 3 drop this year. But it's also likely that you could get Obi-Wan in May, Andor in like August, September.
Yeah.
And then Mandalorian in
December.
What's interesting is they have not really, Disney Plus in general, between Star Wars and their Marvel, they've not done release dates for these shows yet.
No, they haven't. And I think that's an error. I think that
I feel like
you think it's a purposeful error, or do you think it's like, oh, something's not right?
I think that they're just both are signed up for so many shows and movies, and they're working unbelievably hard and fast for whatever reason they want to be pulling out many products, and they don't have a time. Like I think they're finishing them when they can.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's got to be at least deadlines. I think there needs to be deadlines. I think they definitely have those, but I think they have.
Do you guys feel? Well, it's interesting that we talk about this because it seemed for so long Marvel, DC, Star Wars was out there planting flags on dates. And again, that's theatrical because they got to hit those windows. But they would always pride themselves on this date. This is this. This is this. And then what? For whatever reason, the big shifts happened. They were like, "Well, we're not hitting these dates. Things have happened. We don't want to do that anymore." So I think they're gun shy to the point like we're not going to release it until the 2 weeks before and let them know then.
Yeah, I mean, I also think they're waiting for Star Wars Celebration for not necessarily announcements because you got to have an announcement on Obi-Wan. And I also think another reason why they haven't shown anything on trailers for Obi-Wan, as bummer as it is, I think they didn't want to detract from Boba Fett.
I was just thinking that. I think that's the thing. I think Marvel, especially this past season, before the show was finished, we're getting a new one, and everyone's like, "Oh, this is going to be awesome!" And you're like, "You're in the middle of this thing,
right?"
I think maybe they're finally like, "No, enjoy this. We're not giving you anything until you finish this meal. Then we'll give you something else."
Yeah, because if you're Favreau or you're anybody over at Star Wars, and you're going, "Well, we want them talking about our show." Don't start putting trailers out for Obi-Wan because then they're going to start speculating on Obi-Wan and they're going to start putting videos out about Obi-Wan. And it's like, let's get the hype as soon as we put it. You want to keep them talking Star Wars, drop it right afterwards. And as much as I'm like, oh, should we get our trailer already? I get the strategy. I definitely understand the strategy behind it. It's because Boba Fett was never the show that everyone was like, oh my God, I need a Boba Fett series. And everyone got more on board with it after they debuted him. But right now, after you look at what it seems like is that episode 1 was kind of split for Boba Fett, right? I really enjoyed episode 1. There are some people who thought either nothing happened or thought that it was just okay. Episode 2 seemed to get a lot more people on board with.
It was my favorite one.
Yeah, and then episode 3, so far what I've seen, and I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see how it's going to pan out. I don't know. Any final thoughts here, Steph? What were your over? But did you like this? What would you say out of 10? What would you give this one?
I would say like a 6.5, 7.
Okay.
Yeah, I liked it. Like I think it's like hard not to like.
Yeah.
I did want like a grittier Boba. I like that, but I think that the more that I think about Favreau really being the one to push this forward, I think a lot of that vision probably has to do with a hero. And I think like I need to change my mindset about what we're going to get with Boba.
Yeah, I think that they've already pretty much let you know that that's exactly right. Mike, and what are you going, 4 out of 10?
5.
5? Okay. Not bad.
Because again, technically it's beautiful. It looks great. Yeah. Like I can't tell that volume when they're on the desert. Like I can't tell anything special effects wise. But I think like to temper my thing, I think I've had to realize, I think we talked about it last episode, everything that I expected and I want to see from Boba Fett being the bad, what it was, we got in The Mandalorian. That's the Boba Fett flying around in the jetpack, using his weapons every second, kicking ass,
It's true.
That's Boba. That's what we always thought as kids as Boba Fett.
Yeah.
So we got that in The Mandalorian. They can't redo that again. So now this is a new thing. And I like the fact he's older. I like an older Boba Fett.
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind. I'd probably stick with
it's a shift. I had to do a shift in what the character is to me.
Yeah.
And Steph, what'd you say? 7, Steph?
Yeah.
7. I'm probably on the same page with you on that one. I think for this one, it's probably around 7. I love.
Well, I'm the jerk of the episode, aren't I?
You said I'm coming straight off the ropes.
Off the top ropes, baby.
I thought your points were good though.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I just think that it's a matter of how they play it out. This week, I definitely liked the flashback stuff more so than the present stuff. Although I loved the Wookiee stuff, I love the Rancor stuff. So maybe it's just there was a lot. I think that was just because there was more of the present stuff, and there was some stuff in the present stuff that I didn't love as much. But hopefully, they get away from some of this modern crap that they've been doing, and then just
probably not though. It's we're 3 episodes in, and it's still deep.
I don't know. I mean, look, the first one was heavy in it because Rodriguez. Second one, you just had baseball cap turd, and then after that one, I shouldn't call the guy turd. He might be a very nice guy as an actor. I don't know, but the character's a turd. But that was really it. Just that guy, and then the same guy that was set up by Robert Rodriguez. And then this episode was Robert Rodriguez. So maybe it changes after the director, right? You look at.
We'll find out.
We'll find out. And my least favorite episode of The Mandalorian was the one that Filoni directed first. The one
that was my favorite one.
Which one?
My Gunslinger.
The Robert Rodriguez where they were out on location up in
Oh
Burbank?
no, that's the pentultimate.
Filoni.
He was talking about Filoni's
episode
Oh,
with
Filoni's
Hey Mando,
Okay,
where
yeah,
Fennick got introduced.
when we
Gotcha,
first
gotcha.
found
Okay.
Fennick, right? Like, and that one, and
Mando.
Hey Mando, she said every single time. But and there were just some characters inside of it that didn't necessarily work. And then Filoni came in, did the Ahsoka episode and destroyed. So, let's see where it takes us. I'm excited for it. Thank you guys for joining us, by the way. And once again, if you didn't subscribe to this channel, please subscribe and definitely find us on Spotify, Sith Council, and Apple Podcast. It helps us get great sponsors like Headspace. So please, please, please do that. Please check us out. We love you. We appreciate you. We'll see you on the flip side. It's Sith Council. Peace.
I can feel your anger. It gives you focus, makes you stronger.